I remember John Pansel was at Fulham quite a few years back.
Central defender.
And I remember he went through me, so I started giving him a bit of stick. And I was saying, you're useless, are you even on this pitch? And your mates are laughing at you, basically. You cost this team every week. And then
I've seen a different side of Crouchy. Who are you?
You cost this team every week.
It's a good one.
It was a good one, yeah, I was pleased with it.
Are there any other words
I was on fire, actually. I remember saying something like, and then I had to ask him his name. I don't know your name. I had to look at the back of his shirt. And I was giving him a lot of stick. And then I just saw him switch. And I thought, oh no. And he changed. I can't remember who was playing. It might have been Aaron Hughes. And I said to him, like, what's the matter with this fella? And he said, he's a nutcase. Like,
could have told you earlier.
Basically, what have you done? And anyway, he said that he was going to end my career. He wants to break my legs and this and that. And he was playing right side centre half, so I conveniently moved to the left side centre half. And he just didn't care about formations and tactics, went out the window. He didn't care. He was left a massive hole at one side of the pitch, and he was just following me wherever I went. And I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to kill me. And literally, things were coming in. He was trying to throw these elbows in.
Did you tell the ref?
He lost the plot.
You tell the ref like telling the teacher?
Do you have to grass?
No, grass on him.
Do you snitch?
I told my dad afterwards as well. He was fuming.
You know what you'll find, Geez? Like the first time you have a Christmas off and you have your Christmas day with your kids, it gets to about sort of 10 o'clock and you're like, well, what happens now? And everyone just carries on eating and drinking because you're used to just getting out of the house and going training and then coming back and all the dinner's ready and the kids are
And you look at the kids crying and moaning and you're thinking, I wish I could
have a game of football now.
I think this is my one lonely year at home doing Christmas.
So when do you get into the festive spirit then as footballers? Like, obviously we all know about footballers having Christmas parties. That obviously doesn't happen around now. So what did you used to do? Go out sort of like in late November, early December before it all kicked off, or what? Or go out on Christmas Eve?
No, you just try to get your Christmas party early. I mean, it's a tradition. It's a bit of a stupid tradition, really. I used to enjoy it, I'll have to say, but it was. I mean, you always seem to get in trouble, don't you? And I think the nearer you have it to Christmas, it's like people are waiting for the big teams to have their Christmas party, and it always ends in tears. So the earlier you can have it, the better. Probably.
I've been known the Christmas party gets talked about in pre-season training at some clubs. It gets so excited because you get planning and. As results come, if you're having a few bad results, lads, we're going to have to knock the party on the head here because of the bad results. Because as the media got more involved, it was something that was frowned upon. I played at a few clubs where it was cancelled because we was having such bad results. And you think you don't want to be that team that's in the press looking like you're having fun and like the rest of the country, but. If you're losing games, it doesn't look right, does it? If you're going out in a fancy dress,
but you still go on the quiet, right?
It's been done, but I know I've been to a few that's just been completely cancelled because of the results weren't going quite right.
Does that improve results, though? I'm not sure that's always the answer.
Does it improve results? Does it have an effect on it either way? It's a Christmas party at the end of the day. If you're a good team, you're a good team.
It doesn't look good. I remember Harry quite famously came out and said we weren't having a Christmas party at Tottenham one year, and we'd already had it. We'd already been to Dublin, and I was thinking, these pictures are coming out 100%. And
did they?
And of course they did. Yeah.
How was Dublin?
It was fantastic. Robbie Keane showed us a great time, but Harry wasn't too pleased when he found out. But like you said, I got Harry's thinking. I mean, he used to say to us that you've got 8-9 months for a season to achieve all what you can possibly achieve. What's the point of this, which brings unnecessary spotlight on you, which I get to some degree. Obviously the players all wanted to do it, but he said, do what you like in the summer, I don't care. But at this point, we're focused on getting the job done in the season. If you can think about, Liverpool, for instance, it's the first time they could possibly win a championship, a Premier League in 30 odd years. If you go out and bring negative press and spotlight on them, you just don't need it at this time.
Do you remember a few years ago when Leicester won the league? And I don't know if it was a Christmas party, but they was going to come into. Everyone thought they'd have a wobble. They lost the game, and Ranieri given 4 days off, and then you had pictures of all the lads going away and somewhere and having a fancy dress, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's a bad decision." But again, it seemed to sort of that group was so tight anyway. It sort of just made them even more closer together. So It's a funny one,
How did
really.
it work logistically? Was it the captain's job to do it, or did you sort of have a designated party organiser and they'd look? Because it's done away from the management, really, isn't it? The Christmas party for the players, no?
Well, it used to be, but like you say, when the spotlight became so heavily, the management wanted to get involved and make sure it was all
Come
taken
along
care
for a
of.
drink, probably.
Well, yeah, usually. I mean, they just make sure it was all contained and it was all done properly, because players left to their own devices can sometimes get themselves in a lot of trouble. We had Secret Santa at Liverpool one year. That was interesting.
Who did you get?
Yeah. I got Rafa, believe it or not, and that was a
You
tough
had to
one.
happen, didn't it?
What do I get the manager of all the
struggled with
people to
Rafa.
get Rafa in the
Do
Secret
you know what I got
Santa?
him? I got him Jose Mourinho's book. It was a guide to winning the league.
He obviously didn't read it, did he?
How did it go down? Were you there when he opened
Yeah, I
it?
was there when he opened it. Obviously it was a bit of fun because Chelsea were winning everything at the time, and we were just a little bit behind them.
Did he notice you?
I did tell him in the end, but he actually said, I'll read this, and took it quite seriously. Fair enough. Hope you enjoy it.
And what about presents you got? Does anything stand out as funny presents that you got over the years from people?
God, there was some belters.
I love you. There's always an answer to a random question.
I remember Xabi Alonso got one particular player an actual bird, a canary, because no one had ever seen him with one. A bird.
Brilliant. We went there in the end, didn't we?
We did.
He actually got him a canary.
A canary, to take it back
in
to
a cage.
the
Do you want to name the player
I'm
that
not
got-
naming him.
no?
No, I'm not naming him. But he did take it back to the pet shop on the way home from training.
I bet. Well,
With England, Sven was always, as you can see, was so relaxed about what we did. He was comfortable treating us as adults, which we weren't. So he got that wrong, really. And then obviously they went completely the opposite way with Capello. Some of the rules, like I did get it. I mean, the butter one was I didn't get. We weren't allowed butter. That was a bit strange. Well, yeah, I don't really know what we were getting out of it. I have butter at home, but I go away with England for 3 days, 3 to 10 days, and I'm not allowed it, or ketchup, or.
Why? What's the theory?
I think he's an absolute legend of a manager, Capello, amazing. But I think when he realised sort of there was a few little things that we didn't enjoy, things like that. I just felt was slightly ridiculous. And then when the World Cup wasn't going to plan, he sort of tried to introduce things back in because he knew we weren't happy.
Crouchy, you telling me that the national team would celebrate and be motivated by enjoying a bottle of ketchup?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, it's little things like that that just wind you up. It's like, what is the point of that? It's not achieving anything.
Was anyone tempted to smuggle in some contraband? Was there illicit drop-offs of ketchup?
I couldn't possibly comment on that.
So there was.
Would it really piss him off if you decided to do a full-on TV advert for I can't believe it's not butter or something?
No, because that'd be fine because it's not butter.
Oh yeah, good point.
This is God's honest truth, right? They pick a jury. They go on a computer. There's 20-odd people stood there. Jury number 6, Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch? Where's Peter Crouch?
I heard about it.
There's a geezer there. He's got to be 6'8", right? He's
I didn't know he was tall. I didn't know he was a tall fella.
skinny guy with blonde hair that's going a little bit grey now. If you'd have said, I want someone to play Peter Crouch in a film in 10 years' time, he would have been your man. So everybody in the court starts laughing. Even I'm sitting behind a glass partition, me and Milan, like we're the Yorkshire Ripper or someone, we're sitting there. And even me and Milan ended up laughing. It was that funny. And he was a steward at Tottenham, right? And I'm managing Tottenham. Anyway, we adjourned for lunch. We're going to start the trial at 2:00. 2:00, in comes the clerk of the court, goes up to the judge. One of the newspapers has tweeted or sent a message back to their desk saying, "You can't make this up." The Peter Crouch bonus case is a geezer on the jury, 6'8", called Peter Crouch with blonde hair. Right now, so he tells the judge it's now in the public domain, so they have to pick a new jury and they threw him off.
Oh, mate, so
which
they
I
had
was
to,
choked
they
about.
had to substitute Crouchy.
They
How
substituted
ironic.
Crouchy.
Not the first time.
Another
Not the
time.
So that was the story.
Now that you're retired, right? Because there's so much to talk about here. What is the first thing that you sort of realise you've got to do for yourself in civilian world? So, I guess starting right at the beginning of the day, you've got to kind of dress yourself now, haven't you? Which you never used to have to do, and like cook your own breakfast and that. Like what?
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. I just used I just used to leave my wash bag and everything was done for me. But now, yeah, I'm showering in the morning and putting on my own pants, which I
Crazy,
find
innit?
bizarre. But no, listen, I'm not a complete bellend. I can do, I can do stuff on my own.
Do you have a clear goal? Do you have like a clear ambition at the moment?
That's the problem.
Ambition.
I don't have a goal. I don't really have a goal. That's the thing. I'm doing things at the moment. I'm enjoying them. But I'm just sort of pottering around. Do you know what I mean? Like not really knowing where I want to be.
A lot of people have that, though.
But I think that's everyone I've spoke to who's come out of the game had the exact same feelings. They did not know what they liked doing. So, but it's like, that's the thing. Like I've been doing too many things, definitely, and I've been doing things but I'm trying everything out, and then obviously I'll rein things back in, and hopefully, as long as people want me, I'll have a few options to do certain things. But I'll find a sort of a niche where I'm happy and I've got a bit of routine, because I think that's what humans need in a weird way. You need a bit of routine. You need to know what you're doing, don't you? But what is weird is just finishing and not having that routine, like not going in every single day, not having someone telling you where you need to be. I've been fortunate in many ways I sort of fell into sort of a media kind of world, which I wasn't prepared for in the slightest, really. But I know other people don't have that, you just finish and just go, right, now what am I going to do? I tried to plan for my retirement. I tried to plan in the way that I did my coaching badges whilst I was still playing. I did the podcast and the book whilst I was still playing, and things sort of came off the back. And I was just seeing which ones I preferred and what I wanted to go into. And thankfully that went really well, and I went that route. But, I know I'm in a really, really fortunate position, but it can be quite a dark place. And I know from experience, I know some of my friends of mine, good friends of mine, who you'd never have thought got in a really, really dark place, like doing things, waking up and not having any real goal and stuff, and splitting up with their wives, not having a job, not having any money coming in, and going from a hero in the city to basically a no one. And it happens like that, and I can see why people lose it and turn to drink, go gambling, and nights out, because they don't know any other thing to do, and there's no release, and it can be difficult, definitely. And I know how fortunate I am to have these things to keep me busy. Otherwise, I'd be losing my mind as well. I spoke to Sean Dyche quite a lot. I have to say he was amazing, really was, around my retirement. And he said to me, look, we'd like to have you for another season. He was
really?
He was great with that. He didn't, listen, I think he wasn't like saying you're not going to play, but he liked to have me around the place, and he thought I was a good professional, I think. And he thought I could still be a threat, but I didn't feel that, it was enough. It wasn't like, we need you, one of those. So I sort of knew that, but he was being really good about it. But then having spoke to him, and he was amazing. I sort of took a lot of advice from him, really, because he's another player who's come out of the game and gone on to what he's achieved. Amazing, but he was great. I spoke to my dad, as I've always done with all my decisions, and I spoke to.
What did he want you to do?
He just thought the same as me, really. My thoughts on retirement were a weird one, really, and quite different to a lot of players. Is that I felt physically fit, whereas a lot of players just can't go anymore. Their backs, their knees, everything's given up, really. I felt all right. I felt like I could do another season, no problem. I just felt a little bit degraded, a bit. Like I felt like I was becoming the stereotype that I'd always tried to avoid.
Because people were wanting to lobby you on for 20 minutes and lump it.
Last 10, 15, that was my role. I'm coming on the last bit of games, and we're just launching it up to me, and I'm basically using my height, flicking it on, or getting on the end of crosses, or, I could always nick a goal. So, you can make a good living in the Premier League, coming on for the last 10, 15 minutes, nicking a goal here and there. And I knew I could have done it for possibly 2 more seasons, quite easily.
but I felt degraded by it. I felt like I look at myself in the mirror going, that is not what you're about, you know. Like I can still play, you know. If you can play into my feet, I can play 90 minutes, no problem. And I literally became a head on a stick. And
Head on a stick.
yeah, that's what
That's how you felt?
I felt a bit, just getting wheeled out. I just felt that I was a little bit better than that, you know. And I'd done probably 3 years of not quite that, because I was playing games as well, but it was getting to the point where I had to say, nah, do you know what? I don't want to be remembered like this. And although I could still have an impact in what I was doing, I just had to say no. And thankfully, like I say, doing this podcast has been great for me while I was still playing, and doing the book as well, because those two things sort of opened my eyes to another world. And I thought, you know what, there is life after football. I still love going in every single day, and that was a wrench, but the games were just, it was like when you're in a band and you practice all your tunes and all that, and then the gig's cancelled every single Saturday. Yeah. It's a horrible thing, you know. It's like you train all week and then you come to the game and you're not really a part of it, you know. So
what was the most emotional bit then?
I remember sitting face to face with Sean Dyche at the end of the season, and my last game was Arsenal at home, and for Burnley, that was my last ever game. And I sort of knew in the back of my mind it was my last ever game, but no one else knew. No one else would. I didn't share these feelings with anyone. So
You had your family there, didn't you? You had all the kids on the pitch.
All the kids were there, and the reason I brought them all up, because I brought them all on the pitch, because in the back of my mind, knew I didn't want to make a big song and dance of it, but in the back of my mind, I knew that it was over. So I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted them to be on the pitch, and I've got a lovely photo of all the kids on the pitch with me. At the end on my last game, so I'll always have that, you know, which would be nice. I had half a thought that Real Madrid might come in for me as well, and if I'd have retired on that day, and I couldn't have played for them then. So
Imagine that.
well, you never know, do you?
Dyche is quite a hard man. Did you have a little cuddle as the final goodbye?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, you know what? He is a tough exterior and all that, but I've really found him to be such a top man, and I still speak to him now because I shared something with him. You know, it was like I was going through a tough time with a few things, and mainly the retirement, and he was first class for me, and I can't thank him enough.
Deadline day, I went from Tottenham to Stoke, but I was happy at Spurs. All of a sudden I had a conversation with Daniel Levy. Harry was bringing...
When you say all of a sudden, how long before?
On the day, literally on deadline day, I was happy, settled. I had no idea I would be moving, and then a bid came in from Stoke. Harry wanted to bring in Adebayor, and the situation was, see you later, basically.
So were you at the training ground already? And he called you into
I'm
his
at the
office,
training
or?
ground, yeah. I'm in Harry Redknapp's office and Daniel Levy on loudspeaker, and just told him really no uncertain terms, if we're bringing Adebayor in, you're going to Stoke. And I said, well, hold on a minute, I'm quite happy here. And he said, well, you have to go. And I said, well, listen, I'm happy here, I'll see you in the morning. So I've gone home, and then lots and lots of missed calls. And then... believe it or not, I sort of went halfway between. My mum had a friend near Birmingham, sort of stayed there in the middle just in case. It got to sort of 9 o'clock, I realised it was going to happen, and I made the trip up.
It's something that I think people outside football don't see, Robbie, is that, you know, we've kind of created almost this entertainment thing around transfer deadline day, haven't we?
It's nonsense.
But for a footballer, like with your life, where you didn't have kids at the time, did you? But
no.
you might have kids, you might be married, you live in your house, you're totally settled. In one 10-second conversation, your life is flipped completely, and it's something that I don't think football fans necessarily appreciate on a sort of personal level.
Yeah, that's it, like you say. If I had kids that time, they'd been settled in school, they've got school friends, and all of a sudden I'm going up to north of the North Midlands when we were quite settled. But on the ridiculousness of it, I remember listening to what was happening, and I was sat in the McDonald's on a Target roundabout on the A40.
Classy, Crouchy.
I looked at my phone just checking what was happening, and apparently I was in a helicopter circling Staffordshire whilst I was sitting there with a Big Mac.
Big Mac. You had Big Mac. Full Big Mac.
Not the grand.
Unbelievable.
But that shows you what nonsense it is. It is a nonsense, isn't it, what we've created around
Ridiculous.
this?
It's ridiculous.
Oh, well, we love it. It's great. I mean, it's all the drama of it.
I don't think you do, though. You don't, do you?
It's ridiculous.